Which class is this? M&E. And what are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? Which program? Which module?
First, you need
Okay. So today you're going out to do. Ah. And you only 4 of you. Where are others? When do they arrive? You're supposed to do Lockton. Yeah. When do you normally start? When do you normally start? 5. 5. Well, it depends. Who's the class rep? Mama mkwaji. Tumefika kutoka Tanga.
Kutoka Tanga.
Tunatoka Tanga kwa miguu. Ndio mnafika. So karibuni, I think we have to start. How many are you so far? Not here, but how many have registered or been registered?
Some people, approximately 12.
Approximately 12. Okay, so we're more than half, we can already start. So I can come and sit right in front here. So that you save my voice, I don't shout. I'd also like to see you closely and interact with you. Fine, so karibuni, I'll be taking you through what? Logical film, okay? LIFA. And I think at some point in time, I'll also be talking about the theory of change. I'm an expert in those aspects. So I think the fair point to start with is to get to know each other. Anybody we've met before? Not at all. So since you're born, you've never seen someone maybe as ugly or handsome. Never. Okay. Sure. So you will do me a favor by telling me your name, what you do currently. So that is your occupation. And then you also tell me your expectations. What do you expect from this course? And then I'll also tell you my names, what I do apart from this, and I'll also tell you my expectations from you guys. And then I think we can already start. So where do we start from? From the distinguished lady, Karen. Amina Sultan. Yes. Oh, Mohammed Enterprise. Okay. And you work on that. Okay. Good. Karibu sana. Your expectations?
Expectation is to work with the profession.
Okay. You want to know some nitty-gritties of that, what will really help you to your work as an M&A expert. Good. Karibu.
Asante. Naitwa Yohana Julius Kitato.
Kitabu.
Kitato.
Kitabu. Yohana. Yes, Yohana.
Nafanya kama intern English.
English. Okay. Ulimaliza nini first degree?
Sijui nafanya ya MBA Public Administration.
Public administration.
Yes.
Okay. And Amina, what did you do in your first degree?
Statistics.
Statistics. Okay. Wow. Good. Your expectations?
Expectations na tamani kuje nifanye kwenye activities za internship. That's why I'm kusoma hii course.
Okay. Hands-on experience, practical theories.
Yeah, experience.
Yeah, good, good. So, let's get to Kanda. Kanda. Okay, Kanda ya Kiswahili sio Kiingereza ile kama TUNDR. Okay. the bank. Okay. It's quite interesting. In the last class we had about 3 bankers. We had one from Africanacity. Which bank is that? ABSA. And then we also have, I think, 2 from Equity Bank. And actually, M&E is increasingly becoming a big issue with the banks. Yeah. Expectations tumeshasema sana. Karibu.
Asante. Mimi naitwa Dr. Musa
Minuka.
Mikuka. I'm a medical doctor currently working in HIV.
Okay.
My expectation to be a specialist in organ manipulation.
Okay. Wow. We also had some medics in the previous class. I think someone from National Health and from TASAF. Yeah. Okay. Karibu. Karibu.
Bonamax Kupatu.
Max.
Bonamax Kupatu.
Bonamax. Okay. Upatu. Okay. Yes, Mr. Upatu.
I'm a member of police force.
Wow. Okay. TPM. See. What are you doing? Uko kwenye Kenya. Unajua
Masijani.
okay. Your expectations?
The institution, the consultancy, various projects, we have been projects,
Yeah.
various projects in the institutions, and the monitoring and evaluation.
Okay. It's quite exciting. I'll tell you a story about TPF
Yes.
Karibu.
Exactly. Mimi naitwa Aidan
Aidan?
Yaule.
Yaule.
Aidan Yaule.
Haule. Okay, yes, Aidan.
My profession is public planning.
Okay.
You're very nice.
Okay. Wow. Good. Karibuni sana. So my story with the police force, I really wanted to become a policeman. I didn't. So opportunity normally knocks twice. So eventually it knocked. So I was working on police reform, police sector reforms under the legal sector reforms program collaboration. That was in early 2010, that was yeah, I see. Yeah. So I was actually funding the program. I was working for the UK DFID. Now, the head of DFID had 2 sons. One is a cop in the UK, another is a military officer in the UK. And he was so interested in the police reforms. And I also worked in India, with the Indian police, in one of the states called Bihar. So in that state, one district has 90 million people and 400,000 police. In Tanzania, by that time, we had about 60,000 police. So you can imagine the difference in terms of numbers and all that. So we were working on a very exciting project in Yashai. The problem with Indians in that state is that they normally put the red mark in the river. So whenever there is any problem, in India people are many. So if you go to the city center, the market, you can just stand and you find yourself like at ferry. the movement will just push you. Those people are really moving. Yeah. So whenever there is any disorder and the courts come to try to fix out things, they will use the baton. So whenever they're using the baton, in case the baton scratches someone and there is blood, it's when lots of things. I think it's cultural or whatever it is. So that was a big problem in the country. How do we prevent this unnecessary fracas with the members of the force and all that? They tried to deploy women police, nothing happened. They tried very old senior police, nothing happened. They tried some young, junior, out of school guys, nothing happened. Then, in this project that we were funding, we said, let's try to think through. So we called the Bramshire, the police college in UK. It's a college, very good college, called Bramshire. So all these senior guys go to Bramshire to do some college. So they sent two ladies, police ladies. So this lady came in and she said, okay, I think let's see what we can do. So she said, let's do some research, some study here. So we did a randomized control design. You know how that is done. So this is when you have a control and treatment. Yeah. It's in statistics. Someone will teach you about that in the site. But in short, what that project did was it targeted several aspects of how the courts look like, including the uniform. So there was one type of battalion with no uniform. So seeing if the uniform is the cause of all the problem. And then there was another battalion with no baton. And then there was another battalion with no whatever it is. So after 6 weeks of experimentation, there was a serious correlation between the presence of the baton and the violence. So we narrowed down to the baton and said, no, the problem is really within the baton. So this lady went back to Grammy and she looked at the literature and she came back and said, you know what? I think the problem is this one. Can we see how we can go about it? So she came up with an idea to cut it into 3 pieces. So one lot had the same baton, I think it's about half a meter. And then the second battalion had a half a baton. And then the other one had just one small baton like this. And then they went out. After 6 weeks, when we collected data, there was a huge correlation between the length of the baton and the incidences of the occurrences of the violence. So we eventually concluded that, okay, so the problem is actually the baton. So what was actually happening was that if there was anything, any fracas, the cops would try to, calm down people. So in the course of doing that, the baton had some metallic tip at the end there. Now, whenever it scratches an Indian and they see blood, the hell breaks loose. So they came up with a small baton with a plastic, with a rubber tip. So even if he hits it with you, it will not do any scratch. And the problem ended. So it was so exciting. So I told Mr. Mama, I want to become a police. He said, oh, why not? We are looking for experts. You can go to CCP. I said, yeah, sure, why not? So I was really excited. I was just about to go. Then the problem came. I was over 40 years. Then they told me, you cannot come back alive if you go there after 40 years. So that is my story with the police force. But I really like it until now. If I were to be young, I would just be a police. Sure, karibuni. So, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Charles Sokile. I have a very long introduction. It's not because I'm very smart, it's just because I'm fair and probably older than you all there. So, I've seen and lived and done many things. You can check with me. But I work for an organization called Oxford Policy Management. So this is the very Oxford we know. And my job is to do the easy stuff. I have a team of very intelligent guys who are doing very complex stuff, advising, doing research and all that. And my job is just to say, oh, this is good, this is not good. And they can't direct. Before that, I've also done many other things. I worked for EAC. I also worked for the UK government. I also worked for UNESCO. I also worked for Tumishi. I also worked at the University of Dar es Salaam. I think that's all. I was doing teaching. I like teaching. I think I'm a teacher by interest. But then I rescinded because my time was so complex. It was so difficult for me to get some time, especially when the classes started. So I said, no, let me not do this. I can only afford to do the so-called resident. So if there is anything that you want me to bring, the practical side of the case, I have to come and share my experiences. And then when these guys approached me, I liked the company, especially the other one. So there's this one, it's another one called Theory of Change. And it's very new, not many, we don't have as many good experts in theories of change in the country. So I said, why not? Why can't we see if we can work with a few individuals who can really be very good in designing M&D frameworks using theories of change and using exam frameworks and using log frames and all. So I said, fine, let me give available and see what we do. So until now, I'm still looking for at least 2 students of products, especially those who can do very good and very complex studies. As part of my job, we do a lot of interesting complex studies. We're currently running one on vaccines, chicken vaccines, mucosclerosis, Ebola. And I know Oxford was part of the developers of the Moderna, one of the COVID vaccines. Yeah. So we are quite experienced at doing vaccine trials and all that. So we run some trials and we go back to manufacturers and tell them that the structures that you are putting in this part are HT. Can you reverse that? So for example, in the new cancer disease, we tell farmers, keep this under 14 degrees under refrigeration, and then they produce parts of a minimum of 10,000. Now my grandmother can't buy a pack of 10,000 for putting. And if she buys it, she cannot buy a whole refrigerator to keep chickens vaccine. That's fairly stupid. You can't go to Tanzania. So we go back and check if these instructions are really okay. So we are running it in about 17 districts in Tanzania, and the early results are showing that actually some of these instructions are just wrong. They're just like free. It can still work if you can show it recently. So you don't need to look up the farmers to keep it on the information. So those are kind of studies that. But we also do a lot of other social studies. Fine. So that is a bit of my introduction. I think we continue knowing each other. You're welcome to visit me at my offices. Or talk to me anytime if you want. And I think I'm also welcome to visit you guys at offices. So Commander, we didn't say because my passion is really fun. But the age of story. Sure. Madam Karimu, we are introducing ourselves.
Okay.
So you tell us your name, what you do for life, and why did you come?
Okay, thank you. My name is Flora Nyanana.
Flora?
Flora Nyanana.
Okay.
Last week I was in line. I'm working with the Gabon Municipal Council. Head of Planning and Coordination.
So, Karibu.
Asante.
So the rest of the other colleagues have introduced themselves and we're not going to repeat that. You can interact with them over coffee. I've also introduced myself in this way that I don't repeat it, so that we make some progress. Sure, so I'll be carrying you through law frames or logical framework approaches. And this is not anything new to you guys. You must have interacted with the LFA sometimes. So what I'm going to do is to make sense out of it and add value in what you already know, and also help you be able to actually apply it in the real life, be able to design one, draw one, and make application of one. So that is my job. But otherwise, I'm sure you know what LFA is. And even in exams, we just ask you ordinary things. Can you design one? Can you do that? Simple ordinary things. Is there anyone here who's never heard about dolphins? Anyone? You've never heard about dolphins? No. Oh, exciting. So it goes slowly. You've also never heard that. You've never heard about dolphins. Well, we will see what we do. Fine. Madam, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Priska. I think I introduced myself the first day when we were doing orientation. But I was away the last week. I was in Kenya, so I couldn't make it. So my name is Priska Mamulanga. I'm just an entrepreneur. I'm here just to improve my education. That's all.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
I was also not here last week,
Oh,
so we are all new. So, log frame is basically logical framework approaches, and I'll shortly tell you what it is and how it all started. But in simple language, when we do projects, we eventually have to measure if the project has delivered its goal or not. And because projects are paid up for by other people, we normally call them development partners, sometimes even governments. Those who give their money would like to know if it has brought value. If you send your grandmother some money, she told you, my grandson, send me some money to do seeds. I want to plant karanga. You'll be so excited if you know that she's actually harvested some karanga out of your money. Simple. If she is not harvested, next time she asks you about money, you say, oh no, whenever I give you money, you drink it. You don't do what you really ask me to pay for. So log frame is one of the many other ways that help us to measure the results of the programs or projects. And they are so important in the development processes and in the development projects. I wish I could sing shortly. Whenever we are doing projects, traditionally and more commonly, many people would like to measure inputs. They would like to send auditors to see if the money was properly used and if there was any, misallocation, squander, all those kind of things. But they forget that actually the problem is not in the inputs, the problem is more into the outputs. So log frame is one of the tools that help to make sense in terms of results, measuring for results. We will do a lot of hands-on activities that will help you to be able to design one, read one, appreciate one, and so on and so forth. So in this module, we want to help you know how to improve project planning and eventually how to evaluate those projects. even for Priska, who actually for you, you're doing your own things, so no one is paying for whatever you do. At the MDH, they pay for other things. They pay for your chair, they pay for your aircon, and for water and many other things. So you can afford not to be smart with that and walk away with it. In the private sector, you value figures. So it's very important that you design whatever you're doing very well and very smartly. More so, it's very important that you really measure it and get to know if you're making any gain out of it. So if the project is not making any gain, you kill, you strangle it as soon as possible so that you don't waste money. And nowadays, there's a huge appetite for these result-based approaches. In the developed world where they pay their tax to support development in the lower and middle income countries, the appetite for results has increased significantly over the years. So it is not uncommon in their parliaments back in the UK or in the Netherlands to hear MPs saying, why are we sending our money to Tanzania while they are not upholding to human rights? So they are demanding for human rights results. So if you're not able to demonstrate that, they won't give you. You take money to them. So you'll be able to know how to apply the log firm into various stages of project management cycle. Someone has already talked about project management. Yeah? Which model have you done? We've done a relief framework only. Something will come and tell you about how to design a project, stages of project, design, and all those kinds of things. Yeah. So, logical framework approach helps as you design those stages and also measure if there is progress in any of the stages. So basically, it's helping to improve consistency and quality of your reports. Some of you already do reports at the end of the week, or at the end of the month, or at the end of the year, or at the end of the 5 years. Anybody doing reports here? You do it? Yeah. So some of those reports that you do are even so nasty. Yes, stories, eh? Now in trend, and then therefore, and then you know, I'm the part Tanzanian English. So it goes 20 paragraphs and there's nothing in it. So with log frames, we want you to report more smarter. Have figures, numbers, percentages, and make a story out of it. You know, if you know something, you can explain it so succinctly and so clearly. If someone asks you, what's your name? You just say, my name is Haule, because you know it. But if someone asks you something you don't know, then the sign starts, you know. Yeah? So if you write a report and it is 3, 4, 5, 20 pages, chances are that you don't know it. Because in a typical reporting, you could actually have a page, one page, which is showing everything that is done in that project. $1 million reported in one page, in a fact sheet or in a scorecard or in a dashboard. You just look and see all around. This is what they do. And in narratives, you just do 2 pages, executive summary and it's all. So whenever you see you going back, forth and forth and forth, it means some quality is missing and some consistency is also missing. So consistency there means as you report, you make progress and you build into your reporting cumulatively. This is what we planned for. This is what we achieved. And it is an increment of this percentage out of what we had achieved earlier. And this is why we did not reach target. Or this is why we surpassed the target. These are the lessons moving forward. Simple and clear. Ukishaona tu kuna however, therefore, then you know. So that is why we are doing this model and module, and it's quite important and very applicable in what you do and what you do for your jobs. So whenever there's a question, just shout and let me know. So I had assumed that you've learned about project design. As someone explained this diagram here, not this time around, but in the past you've heard about project design. Okay. So for your benefit, let me run through it because it's important for me. If you don't understand it, you may not really be able to converse with it. So normally, there would be a problem or a need in that sense. Now, with that need, you want to develop a solution. If the solution is just a short-term solution, then it's going to be a problem. If it's a long-term, large, big, multiple solution for multiple problems, then it's a problem. Now, you will think through how you are going to do it. What is called project design. So in the project design is happening, there's a lot of other small activities in there, which is not my job really telling you. But eventually, after the designs have been done and all the approvals are made and the resources are available, then the project will kick off. You've hired all the people that are needed, you've established the offices, you've done every single thing that's needed. So the project is set. And then of course, you've also incorporated it in other things that you do. Because you're not only existing to do that one thing. Life goes on many other things. So if it's in Kigamboni municipality and you want to tackle yellow fever, so that's just one out of many other things that you do. Okay? So you will set it up and then you will incorporate it in the wider municipal plans. And then you move into implementation. Now when you start implementing it, after 1 month, you have to know if there is any problems. After 3 months, you will demand for a quarterly report. After 1 year, someone will ask, where are we with that project? So you have to do an annual report. If it was a 5-year project, somewhere by year 2.5, year 3, someone will demand a mid-term project report. And at the end of the project, you have to account back to whoever supported that program, whether it did achieve its objectives or not. So that will be done through an elaborate monitoring and evaluation system. And then you will either close that project or you redesign or move back again into design and life continues. Now in the course of doing that, the log frame helps you to transit and to know the trajectory and the journey if there is any life and any result out of what was designed. Now, when we were going to school, there used to be some mathematics. I really like mathematics. And I know many people who don't like mathematics. It's normally very easy if you like. So there used to be something like this. Oh. Not really visible. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see it? If you don't see it, you can just tell me what doesn't see it. Feel free. Yeah, all three. So 1, 4, and then question mark and 5. And then they will ask us, what has happened in the box? That was in the 4 mathematics. In those days when we were going to school. Did you find this thing in the school? You don't remember? Or you don't remember other things as well that you didn't go through? My problem, I remember actually, I remember even my maths teacher. I remember how we used to dress. Yeah. So they used to call these things machines and attendant. In those days, there was no school bus colleges. We were all going to same schools. So if you went to school around that time, you must have seen this. The 4 mathematics. Anyway, so what has happened here inside the box? Tendo gani limefanyika? Moja, nne, tano. Something has happened. What is it? Conjugation. Simple. So 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. X plus y is equal to z. This is where all mathematics and engineering start from. Input process gives you output. And this is how every single system is designed. You have your inputs getting in, you have some processes in between, and then you have your output. We call it systems diagram. Even if you're going to do calculus or you're going to do any complex mathematics, there are only 3 sides. The input side and the output side and the process side. Now, when we manage, you can manage for inputs. You can also manage for processes. You can also manage for results. In managing for inputs, normally it is not our mainstay. We are not as excited to manage for inputs because we want innovations to happen and people to do wonders without inputs. There is a term we say doing more with less. So we want systems to do more with less. So we are not excited to really manage inputs. We are excited to manage how to send targets. At the time, we are also interested to know if the processes are going to lead to the output, because some of the outputs take a long time to achieve. So if you stay back and you wait for outputs at the end of year 5, you may miss the outcome. So you start by checking if the processes are leading to the inputs. So to the output. So the log frame helps you to make sense out of input, process, and output. Now, what is it? So basically, logical framework is a tool. Now, when I was studying, I scored A's. But I was not the first. There was a gentleman called Betty. Wakati nilifanya first degree, yule bana alipata A zote kuanzia year 1 mpaka year 4. Akapata GPA ya 4.6. Mimi nipata 4.5 akanishinda ndugu yao. It was very extreme. Me, I don't consider myself intelligent. I was just smart. I just knew how to study. In fact, I would see that instructor coming in and is sitting. Kama siku hizi bado nafanya pale kule University of Dar es Salaam. You don't hear what he's saying. Yeah? And then from nowhere, and my book anasema, another important thing, anaenda naandika sawa. Now, unless you are a stupid fellow, you should know that whenever it stools up and is saying another important thing, that thing is very important for it enough to start. And he's going to bring it in exams surely. Kwa mimi kazi yangu ilikuwa ni kusubiri tu anaposema another important thing. Wakati mwingine nachapa usingizi tunafanya mambo yao. Akisema another important thing. Kapia. When I get into the exams, I find those 4 important things. I do them very well, 80. And at the university, you don't need to get 100 to get an A. You just need 71, 72, and you are done. So that's how I survive. So, logical framework is a tool. Ukisahau yote kumbuka kwamba ni nini? Ni tool, si ndio? Which is used in one form or another to measure results. It is very common among NGOs and development practitioners. And we say it is effective and it is analytical. It helps to analyze things. So it's a tool that we use to help measure results more analytically and in detail. And it is not the only tool, there are many other tools. I won't say it is the most important one, no. Actually, nowadays, in many projects, you don't even use log forms. Because there are more other emerging and more dynamic approaches, but it's important. So, they are not new, they are fairly old. And as usual, USAID was actually the proponent, so they were developed by USA as part of the solution work, and then other development partners started adopting them, especially the Nordics, Danida, and all these Scandinavians. And then, of course, eventually went to the NGO world and all that. But just like any other tool, it's also having a lot of limitations. We'll come back to that at some point in time. So the best way is to complement it by other approaches. So why then should we use log forms? Tumeshasema kwamba they act as a planning and a monitoring tool, both in the design and in the monitoring. Unified yake. Some other tools are not really good in design, but logical framework can also help you as you do the design. So at the design, you make one, you fill in the boxes, what we call matrices, I'll be talking about that. And then as time goes by, you can go back and re-implement, re-update it. You make it organic, depending on how the project is going. In fact, if you are going to do measles vaccines. Measles is back here. Sindio daktari? Yeah. If you're going to do measles vaccines and you had a target of 200,000 children, by year 3, you are already 180,000 children. Do you need to still keep the 200,000? No. You raise your target up. Sindio? It's when you're doing better, so you have to re-incentivize the system so that there is more challenge. Or sometimes you find that you are really way off target. You are doing HIV program, male circumcision. By year 2, you are targeted to do 100,000 circumcisions. You've only done 20,000. And you are in year 3. Must you keep the 100,000? Maybe when you look at it, it's like, no, you won't meet this target. You revise it so that you go with a smarter target. So there's a need to keep it organic as time goes on. So at the evaluation, we use the matrix, the tool, to help us now. And at reporting now, when you're reporting, you basically report against the log frame. This is what we planned, this is what we achieved, this is the gap because of 1, 2, 3. That is how we normally make reports. Any question? That makes sense, eh? What was the name? Good. So, we normally use log frames, as I did say, as analytical and management tool. What could we talk about how we use it? Yeah, so let's see how we develop one. Eh? But before saying how we develop one, let me see if I can here. So for the next 1 week, we are going to come back to this table so many times. It is a 4x4 matrix. 4 rows and 4 columns. Four by 5. Do you use diagram? 3 by 4. Non 4 by 4. Labda mimi ndio nimechora kwa lakini ni 4 by 4. Sawa? It's normally a 4 by 4 matrix. Now I'll come and explain kwamba what tunaanza na activities. And then when you do several activities, they give you some results. And then your result inaenda kwenye purpose or goal of the project, or purpose of the project, and then purpose inaenda kwenye goal or impact. Yes? No, this process will come back and make it more simple. So as of now, we are having activities out with purpose goal, and we have assumptions, we have indicators, we have means of identification. Itakuwa hivyo 4 by 4. You can check online, but those are the data programs. I'll come back to them, so don't worry. Yes.
So you mean that you are starting with activities?
Yes.
So from the activities you end up with the goal.
Yes. I'm going to come back to that.
Okay,
No,
I'm going to
no,
come
no,
back.
because life will-
Okay.
So, when you're developing your log frame, you do 4x4 matrix. Yeah? So you have 4 rows and 4 columns. And then, within your project file, you had an objective of the project. Now that objective, you normally explain what you want to do and how you want to do it. Now the explanation of what you want to do and how you want to do it, we call it intervention logic. You want to reduce HIV/AIDS by increasing number of male circumcision. You want to improve children's health by increasing measles vaccines. So the discussion on what you want to do is called intervention logic. And it has to make some logic. For example, you cannot say we want to improve children's health by buying more cars at the municipal. It is possible, but it's not making any logic. I'm not a direct correlation. Simply, unless you say you want to reduce number of maternal mortalities by buying more ambulances. So the description you do about the project is what we call intervention logic. Now, starting with that intervention logic, you will be having several small objectives. Immediate objective, intermediate objective, and long-term objectives. That's why we call them hierarchy of objectives. We'll see how we do that. And then, as you do that, things may not work the way you had planned. There are so many other things that can happen in between. The environment upon which the project is implemented is very important. So you must always have assumptions. Assuming that it is not raining, you want to fix roads to increase mobility for agro produce during harvest season, so that farmers are able to fetch better prices for their produce, assuming that it doesn't rain in July and August. If it rains, all your roads are washed. And sometimes it can rain, simply. So, assumptions are another important aspect within the law. And then, how the results of the project are monitored and evaluated is also very important. So you must have indicators in how you are going to validate or verify those indicators. And eventually, you will need some money. How do you need money? It is unless you know what exactly you're going to do, the activities that are going to be implemented, then you cost the activities. Because you cannot cost indicators, you cannot cost objectives. It is the activities that you're going to cost. So when you wake up in the morning to go to the office, sema leo tunaenda kufanya uhamasishaji, then you cost that activity. So, let me introduce this now for this purpose. Within these rows, the first column is basically showing components. So you have goal, you have purpose, you have output, you have activities. Or in simple words, you have interventions here, hapo kwenye activities. There is short-term activities, long-term activities, building into another set of activities. So for example, we are saying constructing health facilities. Now that's an activity, but how do you wake up in the morning to go to construct health facility? Huwezi kuamka asubuhi ukaenda construct health facility, sio? Kutakuwa na mobilization, procurement, kutakuwa na nini, there's going to be laying foundation, there's going guest of honor coming in, so what, mobilization into the site, whatever, small interventions that are building up into that area. So hizi zote hizi tunazita interventions. And then, when you have done those interventions, there is something that happens. The result. And the results are also several. So you have level 1 result, level 2 result, and level 3 result. You've opened the door of a health facility. The first thing that happens, an expecting mother comes in. Then she's treated. So the first line here, result pale ni nini? That caregiving. But it is not the objective of the program. The objective of the program is to improve children's health. But this result is contributing to the other higher level results. So these outputs are kabla output, kuna output and then kuna outcome. We'll come and see those, and then those zinaenda kwenye impact mpaka zinaenda huko. So we have interventions here, and then we have results. Level 1, level 2, level 3 results. And then huko sasa ndio tuna long term objectives za program, including the visions, the missions, the what, and the impact. So all that is captured within a log file. Kwa hivyo hii column ya kwanza, it is just descriptive showing you the titular issues that you're going to fit into the log file. The good news is, in many projects, the proponents of the project will normally give you a format of the log file to use. Sawa? Yeah. So USA have their own format, Germans, GIZ, KFW have their own format, Brits, UK, FCD have their own format, Danes, whoever have their own format, so they give you a format to use. The only thing you're supposed to know is the first part, you entering your descriptions of the elements of the log file. The second column and the third column. So the second and third column will summarize the performance of the project and how it is monitored. So the indicators as well as sources of verification. Now, indicator is basically a descriptor of the progress of the project. It is a measure if the project is making any sense. Can we start and state and count the whole group? So tutaweza tukaja hapo kwenye bao. Mungu tukie kwenye bao hapa. Tomorrow. Okay. Tunaangalia ubao. Nani anajua kupika ugali? Wote tunajua kupika ugali. Tunapikaje? Can you draw how to? kieleza hawezi kuamini sasa.
naunda maboga kuchemka kabisa.
Sawa, assume project yetu ni quick of that. Input ni nini na process ni nini na output ni nini?
Input process
Decimal can input here. Decimal can frame input. Na decimal so environment. Kwamba unahitaji environment ya some temperature ili environment. Sawa. Process
ni ile ya kuchemka, kusonga.
Let's time that the one we call it like so when you verify, we have an elaborate set of inputs, and then we have process, and then we have results. Lakini pia kuna environment under which the gun works. So temperature and that's basically an environment. Assuming contact temperature, the fire is there from beginning to end. If gas gets off medium, so it's an important assumption. The assumption is that we get fire throughout the process. Good and bad. So when you talk ili tule tushinde. Kwa nini tunakula hivi? Kwa nini tuwe na? Kwa nini tuishi? Ili tuseme. Tuseme ili tujenge taifa. Kwa tuweke kwa. So our major project ni kujenga taifa. Sio? Sasa tunajenga taifa kwa kuandaa ugali mzuri ili watoto wale wakue wachangie kwenye maendeleo ya taifa. Yes, this is the final goal, the impact. Healthy, we are building a healthy nation. Sio? Project yetu ni through ugali kumi. Sasa kwenye project tunaweza tukawa na inputs, tunaweza tukawa na outputs, tunaweza tukawa na processes. Sasa kwenye inputs, remember we said they are also many. So basically we call them interventions. Before unga, we mahindi, we start out all those interventions are children. And then activities ndio hizo sasa, si ndio? And then process ready ya kustia. Now, how do we know that we are cooking that and not cooking? We are adding more flour. So, so there is a stage beyond which Ikishafika utajua now this one is not good, this is ugali. Si ndio? That's very important. So we have to monitor if you have a daughter, anybody with a daughter, 4 years, 5 years, you are trying to teach her how to cook. Unataka kabisa unga ugali fanya nini? Ukomae, si ndio? Asipoongeza unga unaambia no, add more flour because your target is to get ugali, not food. So similarly in the project, there has to be process measurements for you to be able to know that the result is going to happen. If you don't squeeze that process, you won't get your result. You'll get something else. Napata ugali, kishika hivyo sio ugali, unaenda kutoka. Sawa? Good. Now, how do you know kwamba ugali umeiva? Unaonja, asante sana. So there is some characteristic test. Ukionja ugali ulioiva na ambao hujaiva, there's a difference. So test. Unarusha kwenye ukuta. Okay. So kuna hiyo some test that you have to do. Very good. Ukishika kama unajaribu na texture ya na feel. Okay, very good. Ikiwa umegandia sana kwa ile feel, you can already feel it in the process. Na change of the process. You really see that. Yeah. Anything else? Unafoka. Natoa sauti. Very good. Anything else? Harufu. Yeah. So you see, for us to know that ugali umeiva, there are so many things that will show us. Those things are called indicators. Yeah. So we have indicators of taste, indicators of smell, indicators of visual, and all those kind of things. Similarly, in a project, you must be able to have some very elaborate things that you check and know that the results are basically happy. If you miss them, you know you're not having the results. So you can go back and switch. So, right, you want to go for break? How long do you want to break? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Sure, then take 10 minutes break. Now, what's the number? Sambina. Okay, sure. Then you can break. Nimepata.
Yaani kabisa kisumu. Uko mjini.
Omoche. Wacha bwana. Unatoka Kapimori. Nini evaluation?
LFA, logical framework approach. Systematic.
message.
So ready? Sure, let's see if we can make some progress. I was fairly slow in the first lot because I was trying to get used to you guys, you know. I think we are now used to each other, so we can see. Sure, so basically what we say is that when we are doing a project, things may not work the way we expect. So we must hold a set of assumptions. The environment is extremely important. If there is no that fire, then that's not value. You can have everything you have, but unless the environment is cooperative, no value. So before you start implementing any project, you have to do a very thorough environmental scan so that the project is set up and has taken consideration of everything that it takes, and it is implemented in a manner that takes into consideration all the external environmental issues. They'll help in building assumptions. They'll also help in doing everything else that is needed to make it good. So for the next half an hour, we want to talk about context where projects happen. And this is important. So normally, when we are doing log frame, first and foremost, you have to understand your context. So you do a thorough context analysis. After doing context analysis, then you do objective analysis, you do problem analysis. Then after doing problem analysis, then you do objective analysis. Those analyses are what will eventually inform you of the nature and the type of the interventions and the results that you are going to get out of that. So now let's start with analysis of the context and see how far we go. So context is basically the external environment upon which the project is implemented. And we normally check on many things. We look at the stakeholders through stakeholder analysis. We look at the problem analysis. We also look at the objective, and eventually we also do the strategies that we need. Do some strategy analysis. I've run through all this, but maybe today we will finish with one and then we see how we proceed the subsequent days. You will have me until Friday, so you better get used to it. So, sure. Now, stakeholders now anybody who influences or is influenced by the project, either at the implementation or at the result. They are the beneficiaries, facilitators, adversaries, and any other person who is implicated by the project in one way or another. Now, depending on their interest and their roles, we group them as primary, secondary, tertiary. So those who are quite at the center of the project and who makes much influence on the project, positively or negatively, are primary stakeholders. Those who follow are secondary, and those who are far off from the center of the happenings are tertiary stakeholders. Now, the best way to probably explain this is to think of an hypothetical problem, and then we analyze it, and then we work with it through problem analysis, objective analysis, and all that and all that. Now, can you give me one of the problems? What is it that is troubling you in this city? One common problem that is really a problem, and you are like, oh, this one, I would almost move out of the Islam because of this. Traffic jam, okay? Sure. So we have the problem of congestion at the city, mobility, transportation, and all that. So That's 1, 2. Humidity. We are at 80 degrees, 80% at the time. So we're just like fish. So only 20% difference. But is there anything we can do about humidity? What do? We make some humidifiers and work with them.
Environmental plant trees, more trees.
More trees. So an environmental problem. Can we capture a more smarter problem that we can solve? Probably humidity is difficult.
Difficult to solve.
Yeah. And eventually tell you that these problems are, you have simple problems, you have hard problems, and then you have the problems that we call wicked hard problems. It is so hard, and we need multiple solutions and multiple players to solve it. Malaria is hard. It's not simple. That's why we've been living with it many years. Cholera is not hard. It's a simple problem. We know if we boil water, we do whatever, chlorination, it's all gone. That's why we no longer have cases of cholera. COVID was wicked hard. When it came in, we didn't know what to do. We also didn't know how to do it. Any other problem? So we have mobility problem. That's right. Congestion and mobility. You know, I have a very bad handwriting, so this thing is really helping. How do we capture that? I know there's really a problem around climate change and all that. What is, apart from, don't tell me temperature, don't tell me humidity. Maybe there's not much we can do about it. Maybe floods. Is flooding still a problem? Yes, could we take that?
Yeah, we can take it.
Sure. So we have a problem of mobility and congestion, and then we have flooding. Yeah. A third, solid waste. Oh, yeah, sure. So let's take another problem of solid waste management in the city. So 3 problems. Mobility, we want to solve a problem of mobility. We want people to move from one corner to the other corner of the city rapidly. Pay less, go fast. And then we have another problem on floods. We want people to enjoy when it rains. No any problem associated with, because sometimes this leads to this and the other one. You know, each time Msimbazi River, for example, floods. Whenever it rains, it floods. I'm sure it does. Whenever it does, we lose an average of 4 people. Deaths, 4 deaths, and then we also, it washes, one rainfall event in Dar es Salaam washes up to 0.4% of the GDP. It's very expensive to fix roads. Very expensive to do all those buildings and all that along Msimbazi corridor. It's a real problem. And solid waste, how much tons do we generate per day? And how much does it cost us to generate? A lot. Yeah. So we have 3 problems. So what we want to do now is to divide ourselves in 3 groups. And then everything that we do, imagine your problem. You are not a problem, you're working on a problem. So we have only 3 distinguished ladies in the house. So each lady becomes a problem. So Amanda is one problem. Choose your problem. Which one do you want to choose out of those 3 problems? Mobility, transport, mobility. So Amina and Co, you will be working on mobility in the city. Krista?
Floods.
Floods. You want to help us solve out the problem of flooding in Dar es Salaam. Sawa, eh? So we have mobility, we have floods. Let me see if these are making sense out of what I have here. Mobility, floods, and what else? Mobility, floods, solid waste. Yeah, it's making sense. Okay. Flora, so automatically you are solid waste. Okay. So gentlemen, can we align with these ladies? Where do you want to go? Yes, please. Can you choose? I want to ask ladies to pick it. Now, when I grew up in a village, and in those days, in 70s, there was a very interesting culture around marriages. Now, when people were married, it was a very elaborate process. At my culture, divorces are unheard of because the marriage process is so long and so complex. The culture makes it so complex so that when we imagine divorce, it's like, ooh, let me just live with this terrible man, whatever. I don't want to go through that hell again. So one of the processes required that when a lady has been married, she's gone to the husband, then a set of other ladies come from their home, from the ladies' home, like 20 young ladies, young 18, 15 to 20 there. So they come to say hi to that lady. And they spend 2 days there helping her out with the home, cook, those kind of things. And then a day before they leave, all young men in the village go out, dress themselves well, wash themselves, do perfume, and then they go out at around 4-ish, 5-ish there when it's broad sunlight, and then they parade up there. So you'll get like 100 men, they're all lying down. And then these 20 ladies start now walking like 200 meters, one after another. They go and then they pick one man. So the first lady goes and says, this one. And then the second lady goes, and then the third lady goes. Now the problem is, those who remain without being picked up, they really feel ashamed, and they feel so bad. The good culture with that thing was that they would give the lady and the young boy, time to talk. And it's in the broad daylight. So when you come and hold your hand, then you go and sit somewhere and you talk for 2 hours until it is about 6-ish. That's when you go home. So if you can conclude the deal from there, fine. If you don't conclude the deal, up to you. So at least I'm sure everyone is going to be picked here. So 1 3 groups, Amina, Nani. You said, maybe let's see if we can mix with our profession. So Amina, you say you're working on data. Who do you want to pick? Yeah, take one of the dactaries, because we have 2 dactaries. Okay. So, unachukua Aidan? Johanna. Yes. Okay. So automatically daktari you go to another group. You go to Priska. Au nataka kwenda kwa Flora. Popote. Haya Priska na Flora mmoja wao mchukue daktari. Priska yuko private sector. Daktari uko, what do you do? Uko NHIF. And then, so you, both of you are in the public sector now. So you go to Priska. Sawa. So Flora, pick up one thing.
I don't know the answer.
So gentlemen, we pick, and she don't know your name.
The man in front.
So tell Flora your name. Mwambie Flora, mimi hapa naitwa so and so. So Frank, unaenda kwa Flora, sawa? So automatically Then we have 2 of you going to the remaining teams. Can you pick where you want to go? Flora chagua tena.
Mchagua mtu kwa kiasi.
Bwana jitambulishe bwana Flora sije jina lako. Kwa Aidan anaenda kwa Flora, so automatically Mr. Kupatu unaenda kwa Amina. Sawa. Tumefahamiana vizuri. Each team has 3.
Moja ina 2.
Moja na 2. Kuna moja hajaja. Anaitwa nani? John. So mtamchukua na John pia, sawa? Tumefahamiana vizuri. And we also know our problems. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, so nikieleza, you imagine the issue and how it applies to you. So mfano, can we move and be in our groups? And then tukiwa kule tuseme in the mobility, primary stakeholders wako ni nani, secondary stakeholders wako ni nani, na tertiary stakeholders wako ni nani. If we do that for 3 minutes, ili tuende kwenye kingine. Sawa, tunaweza tukaanza. So lazima mkae, mnaweza mkasimama, but just sort of primary, secondary na tertiary kwenye that problem is working. Can one of you keep up the notes? Tahitaji hizo notes so msiendelea kufanya. Sawa, tumewapata primary, secondary na tertiary. Now, you should note kwamba within that category, you have stakeholders, but you also have beneficiaries. Sawa? are beneficiary stakeholders? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So you have those who benefit within that particular project. Sindio? Na hao beneficiaries wanaweza wakawa ni target group, the entity that are going to be directly and positively affected by that project. Kwa transportation mfano, this is a mobile population that travel every day, especially urban dwellers who are working class or business people. Those are the beneficiaries, and that is the target group for this project. You can also say, well, this project is for school kids. Project kama ile ya school bus. Tunaelewana? Yes. And then you also have final beneficiaries. So these are those people who are going to be affected or to benefit by the long-term objectives of the project. For example, children, they're just at home, but if parents can travel very quickly and arrive home, then they will gain. But in the intervention, you may not really do any activity to target them. Sawa? So when you're thinking stakeholders, some of these beneficiaries will be in primary, some will be in secondary. What we want you to do is that thinking through will help you to have a sober eyes to know who do you target the project for, and how do you design your log frame. Sababu baadaye kule tutakapokuwa tunatengeneza indicators, we'll be talking about number of women or number of men na kadhalika. Sawa? So when we talk about stakeholders, we can have external stakeholders as well as internal stakeholders. In this project, for example, externals would be employees. So for you to do solid waste management in Dar es Salaam, how many wards do we have here? How many mtas? 6 million people, 5 districts. How many wards, madam? Kinondoni mnakata ngapi? Kigamboni. Kata? 9. Tisa. Mita? 67. Sure. So kwenye kila mtaa, maybe you have somebody, some company, some women group or whatever it is doing garbage. They are also doing. Kwa hao wote wako kwenye category ya internal stakeholders. They are causing the problem, the project to happen. So the management, the owners, and all those people who are part of them making things happen. And then you have those who are external. You're going to have a lot of suppliers of vehicles, of waste disposal, containers, suppliers of transportation, mobility of vehicles and all that. When you're flooding, maybe suppliers of whatever it is. And then you're going to have the wider society. You have the government, local and regulated. And then you have kuna local, kuna central. And then you have the whatever financing and all that, shareholders, customers, clients, so all that you should think through. Mimi natoka kwenye private sector, so I normally think private sector. That's why nimeweka hapa. Lakini niweza bado kuweka hapa. We can sort public transportation through community-based projects, or through a government corporation kama UDAT, or through private sector. Yeah. So think through when you are doing stakeholder analysis so that you don't miss any category of people. So similarly, I want you now to think, you know how we do Venn diagrams, Cindy. Now for these stakeholders, some are at the center of the happenings, some are very far from the happenings. We've already said some are primary, some are secondary, some are tertiary. But what is really of interest in this project is power and influence. So some are very powerful, but they don't have influence. So for example, Bonamax is very powerful. The police institution, if they say no littering here, they have power and authority to make people not to litter, but they're not as influential. What can happen? The guys will look at them, and if it's not in there, then they litter and then they have it. But some old mzee somewhere can be very influential, but he has no power. He tells children stories that, you know what, if you urinate on the road, your mom's breast will turn sore. And then they believe that, and they will not live. Senior? Yeah. So we are also interested in those power dynamics. So for you to be able to put all those together, you need a diagram that will show you who is at the center of your project and who is at the periphery of your project. And the best way to do that is by drawing a Venn diagram. We know Venn diagrams, eh? Yeah. So basically, a Venn diagram will illustrate through circles relationship among things or groups of things or groups of people. It will show some overlap and commonality, and when there are no overlaps. It is basically a visual representation of similarities and differences between 2, 3, or more concepts. So you can have 2 circles, 3 circles, 4 circles, depending on the interrelationship that you want to really draw in there. When we are thinking, I normally like to think in 3 windows. Simple, complex, very complex. Now, if you look at these projects, in unitary, they are very simple. So you're solving transportation, you're solving flooding, you're solving solid waste. But you can also look at them as one. Imagine you have one big urban metropolitan development project, which is dealing with 3 components. So in which way our project is one? Same way. Now we can draw 3 circles. So you can have one circle here with the problem of solid waste. Sina kalamu. Kesho utapata kalamu. Sio? Kama hawajaleta chuo, bring one. If you call me, if I'm in my office, I can also bring some. But don't call me, just bring one. So, hapo tuna seko ya solid waste. Hapa tuna seko ya transportation. Hapa tuna seko ya flooding. Then there is someone ambaye anakuwa affected na hizi zote hizi. Mwingine anakuwa affected na solid waste. Flooding sio shida yake, anaishi Upanga magorofani. Na transport pia sio shida yake kwa sababu anaishi Upanga magorofani. Mwingine anaishi Kariakoo, so flooding is part of his problem, na solid waste is part of his problem. Solid waste, transport sio problem yake kwa sababu mkalaka liko chini. And then you have someone ambaye is affected by all those kind of things. Now that way, it starts being complex. And then it can be very complex if we add in another parameter and another parameter. So the Venn diagram will just show us the correlations between several aspects. And I'm sure you know how to draw them. Watu waliokuwa wanakimbia hesabu kwenye darasa la pili walikuwa wakimbia. So we use the veins to analyze nature relationship between key stakeholders. How do they relate to each other? Kule utakuwa na serikali ya mtaa, utakuwa na garbage collectors, utakuwa na NGOs, and then NGOs wanahusiana na serikali ya mitaa, wanahusiana na garbage collectors. How do they relate? For you to see how they relate, the Venn diagram will show you. Sawa? Yeah. So they're also showing spatial separation. Yeah? So spatial separation here is the strength and weaknesses of the relationship into that. I've just given an example of power and influence. And then, of course, they are also used to analyze conflicts and political economy, as well as other political settlements and elite bargains around different things that are happening. So Venn diagrams are quite important. The problem is when people are learning mathematics, the teachers never told them the application of those things. Maybe they told me, find the shaded area of a rectangle. But they tell my daughter nowadays, if your home has a lawn of 5 meters width and 10 meters length, and your dad asks you to slash that lawn, how many square meters of grass are you going to cut? Then she immediately thinks of a lawn at home, and then she does that mathematics at a fail. Lakini kumwambia tafuta eneo lililotiwa kivuli, it's very far from that. So we have an example of a Venn diagram, which is showing power, legitimacy, and agency. This is a governance program. There are some stakeholders who are very dormant. They don't have power. There are some who are very dangerous. And then there are some, your focus is not really sure. Yes, and then kuna usually legitimate and let me just explain the concept without going into the details. So, between legitimacy, power, and agency, there are some stakeholders who are influencing all those three things in them. There are some who are only influencing these two, some who are influencing these two, and some who are influencing these two. So this is an example of a complex Venn diagram which is showing relationship between stakeholders. Not ukawa na serikali ya mtaa hapa, ukawa na NGOs hapa, ukawa na group, garbage collectors group. And then you draw, you see, baadhi ya group members ni wajumbe wa serikali ya mtaa. Baadhi hapa wako hapa na kadhalika na kadhalika. So it shows you when you are designing your intervention, where should you target your focus. Sawa? But you can also have a very complex map of stakeholders where you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You see this one at the center? Yeah. So it means that the area of confluence is actually, so you have region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4, region 4, region 5. Let me give you an example. I think I have a better example, but let me show you this. Is it making some sense? Nimesikia mtu mmoja anasema afadhali. Yes, this is a good example. Now, this is an example of a model of managing family businesses. Some of you have businesses, you have a business here, and you have children. You let your children inherit your business. So last Saturday they invited me to talk about family and the integration of businesses. In Tanzania, we have very few families that are able to transfer wealth from one family to another. The rest of the families, if the owner of the business dies, everyone is bound back to poverty. That is bad. Because everybody pays the cost of starting and starting and starting. So we are trying to encourage HNI. So HNI is high net worth individuals, like Mohammed Enterprises, can spend some money and help private sector. So instead of youngsters going out to do some non-productive businesses, if they can go back and reinvest in the family businesses. So some of these kids, for example, you find out wamaliza degree, mwingine tuna ya business administration. Alafu mama yake ana shamba la eka 8, kuna magunia 30 ya maharage kila mwaka. Alafu anaacha yale magunia ya kuwapa kazi. Or you have a child from the Maasai family, the father has 300 cows. And the boy has graduated, comes to Dar es Salaam to look for a job. Alafu analipa shilingi 700. The 300 cows gives birth to 30 cows every year. One cow is 700,000. Yeah. So that is almost how many millions? Like 210. And I know you. So we are telling you that you're missing the habit. Is there a way you can go back and work out some models to try to elevate family businesses and local generation? That's what I'm doing. Other things on the other side. So I grew up this very diagram. Kwamba kwenye ownership ya hizi family businesses kuna several types of owners. Ikiwa hivi inaonekana ni complex, sivyo? But let me make it simple. Before we come back to the story starts out. There is family-owned business, and then there is family-owned and managed business. So you own your business, but you also manage it. But you can own your business and you don't manage it. So for example, me, I own a business, and my business is very exciting. You know the business that I do? Print books. And I think probably if you check out Booking and York and Navy, you will say that. But unless I tell you the trade name Mint Oils. So many people say, so you can own a business that you don't manage. There's also family-owned and led business. So you own it, you lead it, and you work right in there. So when you start seeing it that way, so within that family business, you have family members. You have yourself, maybe your husband, your children, your auntie, your sister, your family members. And then you are owning that family business because all of this is the family business. So So then the family business, they are family members. But these family members are not part of the business. Hawahusiki kabisa na hiyo biashara. Sawa? And then there are some family members who are into that business. Okay. Number one, the family members, they're not in the business. Number two, the family owners, those who are in shares of the family business. And then number three, you have non-family, non-employee owners. When you are setting the business, you invited Dr. Sotile to come and give you some capital. So you and I own the business, but I'm not part of the family. So, it makes sense? Eh? Yes. And then you have number four, where you have non-family employee owners. Now, in the course, you also invited Amina. She's not part of your family, but she's an employee, but she also has shares in the business. Sawa? Sema mimi bana siwezi kuamini niko hapa hela yangu, lazima niwe mwenyewe. So you are non-family employee and you are part of the online business. And then tuna number 10, non-family employees. In that business of ours, which business is it? Restaurant, or not, is garbage collection. We have City Cleaners Limited. We are collecting garbage and then we are sorting it out, and out of garbage, tunatengeneza gesi, tunamuzia Oryx anapack kwenye nani. So within that, we have non-family employees. So the rest of you wote tumewaajiri kwenye City Cleaners Limited. You are not part of the family. And then we have number 6. We have family employees. You have your sister and your auntie. They are not owners, but they are members of your family. They are working for the business. So, and then we have number 7, where we have family owner employee. Yourself, you are part of the family, you are owner, and you also work for the business. Hapo tumeelewana? Yes. So we have 7 categories of people. So through Venn diagram, we can explain relations between family, ownership, and business. Tunafanya context analysis ya project ili tuweze kudesign a proper log form. It's very simple, si ndio? Sawa? Yeah. So nilikuwa naeleza tu Venn diagram, simple, complex and very complex. So this one is very complex. Lakini ina domains 3 tu. Naweza nikaongeza domain ya 4 hapa na ya 5 na kadhalika na kadhalika. Kuna swali labda? Ina make sense, eh? Okay. So can you imagine your project and the stakeholders? Si wengine unaanza kuona, if you read in your list, unaanza kuona wengine wana interrelate. Yes. So how you design the interventions, there is some of the interventions you design for one, but then many of them happens. If you want to talk to, you want to call 20 people to introduce a technology, then you can already pick those who are falling in hapa, baadaye hapa, baadaye hapa, baadaye hapa. Hao wanaofall mbali huko hawana influence kwenye project, you don't really think about it. So this was complex and this is very complex. Ndio tumesema we can hard. Don't worry, many of the life problems are not that complex. They are normally very simple. Sawa. So you can have a very complex scenario where your stakeholder analysis really becomes an analysis. Simana ya analysis ni analysis. So, unaona hapa mfano, we have those who are having authority and decision, we have those who are affected, we have those who are just important, and then we have those who are having authority and decision. And then you have the level of support they give you. Some are supportive, some are neutral, some are resistant, some are supportive, na kadhalika. Then you also have other parameters and can have them as many as possible. Ukija kuchora sasa, you start drawing and you see within the circle, some are right at the center. Or within the circle, there's another circle again. Okay? And some are within that particular circle, there's some relationship in between. There are some who are out of the circle, but they are also having some influences. There are some who are on the other side of the circle. Na kadhalika. Tukianza kuchora kwa arrows, unaweza kusema wengine arrow inayoenda kwao inaenda only one direction. It is only influencing this direction. Wengine wana influence both up and forward. Wengine relationship yao ni ndogo sana, ana influence kidogo tu. Kwa hivyo anakuwa na dotted line. So that way it becomes more complex. Tunaelewana lakini? So if you forget anything, just remember in stakeholder analysis, there is simple, complex, and very complex.
Yes.
Kwa kama una design mwenyewe, kwa sababu mna leo kushikia bunduki design complex, una design simple. So that process of stakeholder analysis, what tunaita stakeholder mapping. You map them out to find where are they. And as I did say, we are not just doing it for the sake of doing. At the end of the day, we want to know who has more power to make things happen and who is having more influence, our interest. So ukichora power na influence axis, utagundua kuna yule ambaye ana very minimum power na minimum interest au minimum influence. Hiyo unaachana naye. You put your minimum efforts there. Sawa? Because there are so many, you cannot target all the stakeholders. Kuna mwingine yuko hapo ni mwenyekiti wa vyama vya wafanyakazi. Vyama vya wafanyakazi has nothing to do with garbage collection. Unaachana naye. But there's someone who's very important unless you really talk to him or involve him, things will not work. So wale ambao wako high power, high influence, high interest, you really manage them closely. Wale ambao wana high power na low interest, you just keep them satisfied. Ndio wale unatengenezea policy briefs, fact sheets, unawapa tu taarifa. Mheshimiwa mbunge, umekuja kupa taarifa ule mradi wetu ule. Sasa umefikia hatua fulani. Oh, sawa. Akienda bungeni anakusemea, diwani. Unajua unaweza kukuazimia. Ukikuazimia siku hiyo nyumbani huwezi kulala. Kwa unamfuata tu meya, mheshimiwa, unambrief tu. Just keep him satisfied there. Yeah. And then kuna wale ambao you keep them informed. Kwa sababu gani? They are so interested. Wanatafuta information and they can help to cascade that information or do something else na your information. So, in your stakeholders, you must know what are you targeting them. Sawa? Kama kuna swali? It's making sense in your project, the project you're working on, ile ambayo umedesign. So at least now we can do stakeholders analysis. We are doing both. So if they want to can do a proper stakeholder analysis, sio mbaya. So recently they published a report ya fintech, ile ya financial inclusion. Nani ameiona? Hamjaona ile report ya financial inclusion? Kuna mabenki wangapi, watu wangapi wanafanya mobile phone, wangapi wanafanya nini? Wame launch last week, and was it last week? The other week, and there's a lot of noise in there. Who's working on the kufanya nini?
Ni content na details.
Tafadhali inabidi unayo na usome, kwa sababu ni sekta yako, inabidi ufahamu as a finger. Sawa? Wanabana Max pale kwenu kuna kitengo cha intelijensia ya fedha, financial intelligence unit, iko wizara ya fedha na ina desk kidogo pale kwa. Wana track ya mambo ya money laundering, mambo ya nini, wizi wa mtandao, all those kind of things. Wanawe ni interest yako. So siku akitafuta tu mwenye wakika masili pale mwenye ema tu wanakutoka kwenda kwa mkoa. Sasa utanijaribu ugeni utasema tunasukilia kusoma hili jambo kabisa. Nimesema sasa. Sawa. So hii hapa mfano, this is an example of fintech ecosystem. Ni stakeholder analysis ya financial intelligence ya Italy. Sasa tukachora ya Tanzania, si ndio? So in doing this tumetumia rangi red, amber, green na basically ni rangi tatu. Hizi zingine zina interface tu. So each color here has a meaning. Unaweza kuzidefine kwamba tunachotaka the most positive ni green. Sasa rangi zinabadilika kwenda kwenye green, ukiwa kwenye green unaenda kwenye amber, alafu unaenda kwenye red. Si ndio? Hizi zingine ziko in between hapo. Lakini pia you can represent this by using size of the circles. Kuna zingine kubwa, zingine ndogo, zingine za katikati na kadhalika. The bigger the circle, the bigger the influence. Kwa hapa kwenye Excel click hyperlink itaonyesha data ambayo iko kule nyuma ambayo imegenerate. Lakini this circle is smaller than this, although they all share the crypto and the initiative, zote zina share some characteristics, lakini hii ni kubwa kuliko hii. Yaani maana yake hawa wako wengi kuliko hapa. Si ndio maana yake? Yes. Similarly, data managers, they are very few. Lakini wako kwenye kategori moja na markets, capital markets na trading, pamoja na hao wanao manage tax na invoices. Lakini hawa ndio kubwa zaidi. So you see, I can start having several relationship expressed in a visual manner. And this is showing maturity vis-a-vis growth potential. Zipi zimesha mature na zipi bado zinakuwa. So you see, category kama ya lending na wealth tech na nini, hizi zikisha mature siku nyingi. Category kama za capital markets na trading bado zipo. Cyber tech na kadhalika na kadhalika. Sawa. Let me show you another example, a simple one, which is showing a relationship like this. tells me from the experience time. Just a few minutes. Okay, forget about it. It's not for me. I wanted to show you how that can happen in real life, and how you can do it in a typical project, not like anyway. So, what I will ask of you is that tomorrow sure. So what I ask of you, kesho nataka tuje na cards. We can come with small cards, you know, those take it out ones. But the disadvantage of them, the writings are so small, you're not going to see. So you can either bring those cards or bring big cards. Which one do you want to bring? This is small supervisor. Utaandika makubwa. So it's you going. Okay. So each team, please bring stick notes surrounding like that. And then bring blue tag. Nafahamu tag? We know blue tag? Blue tag. Yes. You stick it on the wall. When you stick it here, it's not going to destroy the wall. No. It's like glue. It's like chewing gum. Yeah. You just go to the station and tell them what a blue tag. So it's adhesive material. Blue tag. So you use it. Yes, you use it to stick. So if you take a piece of paper like this, you take your stick and then you paste it here and then you use it to stick it on the wall. And you can take it and redo it again without destroying the wall. So, you know them? Yes. And then bring masking tape. At least one masking tape. You know masking tape? You know masking tape. If you don't know, go and ask them at the station. Masking tape. We use it to stick the paper, the flip chart. So if you want to put a flip chart there, we will use the masking tape to stick it on the wall. And then bring one flip chart. So one. Flip chart. You know flip charts, eh? You guys use Sawa? Yes. And then mark pens. At least one box. So let's say one box per each team. Sawa. Sababu hii shida ya kupata shida hapa wakati the learning is not happening and can bring the stuff. Sindio? So tomorrow I'm not going to do this thing of talking here. You're going to do the talking here. Yes. Sawa. Okay. So with our projects, what we will do tomorrow, go and look for a project ambayo inafanana na project yetu. Look for a project which is handling mobility, urban mobility, and then bring its law frame. Sawa mina? Yeah. Look at a project which is handling city flooding, either in India, Philippines, wapi, Dar es Salaam, wapi. Let a look from here. Then look for a project which is dealing with solid waste, urban solid waste. Bring the log. So exercise ya kwanza tutakayofanya, tutachora Venn diagram ya stakeholders. Sasa ili tuwe precise, I want you to think of that project, think about its objective na title, kuanzia hapo kwanza, and narrow down to a specific area, labda in Kinondoni au in Ilala au in city center, ili siwe too wide, ili ianze to make some sense. Sawa? Title and objective. Alafu tutafanya problem analysis. What is the problem ya mobility? Tatizo ni nini? What problem do you want to solve? So tunaanza saa 11:30. Try to come early so that come in time, so that you start in time. Kwa sababu tumesha divide responsibilities, tunajua hizi zinakuwa na marks. Yes, kule mshoni kule kiasi cash process based on that. So we block money project mpaka mwisho. Tumaliza mpaka tuongeza kingine. So by the time we finish, you will be experts. Just so ukifika mpaka kabla sijafika start. Mimi nikifika I'll add on a few things. Hivyo kesho kutwa tena tunaendelea add on a few things. By Thursday we are done. Friday tunafanya. Any question? Basi kama hamna swali, I wish you see you.